4:31. Starting with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On a roll call, you want to start us off, Bob?
Bacon present.
Sabzi Chowdhury present.
Fig present.
Zalad present.
Kikwan present.
Milky present.
Coin present.
Being a quorum present. We'll move on to item 4. Approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Support.
A motion by Coin, support by Milky to approve tonight's agenda. Hearing no comments. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. And the agenda is approved. Moving on to agenda item number 5, approval of minutes on the June 16th regular meeting. I think everybody has those in the packet.
Motion approved.
Support.
We got a motion by Bars, support by Zalad, to approve the June 16th meeting minutes. Hearing no comment. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. And the minutes are approved. Going on to agenda item number 6, public comment. Anybody online? Anybody?
Hello, my name's Spencer Lynch. Just wanted to come and introduce myself, take the opportunity to show you my appreciation for the work that we've done in the past, for sidewalks in the wintertime, and just express my appreciation for your consideration for keeping us on, keeping us working this winter, while the snow and the sidewalks. Thank you.
Okay, super.
Thank you.
Thanks for saying hi.
Yeah.
Jeff Graber and Associates. I think we met many of you a couple of years ago when they did the initial design for the M20 irrigation system. So looking forward to getting your feedback and getting approval of me moving forward and helping you folks build that system. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And moving on to agenda item number 7. A presentation, it's like Middle Michigan Development Corporation annual report.
Hello, everyone. Wonderful to see you all. I'm Katie Mora, President and CEO for Middle Michigan Development Corporation, and I'm excited to share an update on both 2025 and then give you a little bit of a highlight on 2026 as Middle Michigan has continued to work in partnership with Union Township. I handed out to all of you a copy of our annual report, and I know that that was also included in your board packet as well. And so I'm going to use that as a guide to kind of walk through some of the wonderful things that we've been doing, but along the way I'll also share some highlights from 2026 as well. So 2025 was a really strong year for the communities that we serve. On page 2, you'll find our local impact. And some of these numbers are relatively significant for our organization. We were able to double our local investments compared to where they were the year before. We hit our highest number of company visits that we've been able to have since we did some of those COVID grants, and we're working with businesses through support of some of those initiatives. And then we also were able to share and highlight that we had 49 new businesses launch across the 3 counties that we serve, as well as provide a decent number of company assists and then community grant funding as well. For those of you who may not necessarily be too familiar with what Middle Michigan does, I always think it's good to go over the 3 pillars that really are what we're about. On this same page, you'll see our vision and our mission. Our desire is that for Osceola, Isabella, and Clare counties, that we are really focusing in on being the primary economic development driver, championing prosperity and vibrancy, working to retain businesses, attract businesses, and then support our communities through community development as well. And through this report, you'll notice that we go and highlight some of the various ways in which we were able to do that specifically in 2025. If you go to page 6, on page 6, you'll see the businesses that we were able to report as launching or announcing that they would be launching within our service area. You'll see for Charter Township of Union, we had quite a few companies this year that announced that they were coming or opened their doors during that time. In 2026, we already are aware of 3 businesses that are opening within Union Township, but as we get closer towards the end of the year, we'll be asking Rodney to help us to identify as many of the businesses that have launched as we can so that we can continue to report out on this information. One of the things that we've found as we've continued to do this work is that we have a really strong entrepreneurial network across the 3 counties, and when we have local individuals starting something new, those often take root and take hold and are here for a long time. And so that has become a part of our business attraction strategy as we've continued to move forward in this work. On the next page, on page 7, we are highlighting our downtown pitch, which we hosted in a different community, but I wanted to highlight it because this year we're actually opening up downtown pitch to all of our communities. So we're doing an event that will be hosted here within the area, and we're inviting all of our communities to invite their businesses within either a DDA or a downtown or a high impact corridor to consider participating. And so we're hoping for a little friendly competition between our communities, but if there are businesses that are on a high impact corridor or within a DDA within Union Township, they would be eligible to apply. This program is unique because we start in August and we'll go all the way through December working with those businesses, helping them to hone in on an idea that would help to grow their business and also have a positive impact on the community they're in. We raise funds that will all go directly to the winner of that competition. We celebrate it by hosting a community event where we invite community members in to cheer for those businesses and to vote for their favorite. And we typically have been able to give $10,000 or more as a grand prize. This year, because we are including all of our communities and businesses from all 3 counties, we expect that that prize will be higher, as well as focusing in on a prize for a business that wants to launch in our communities. We'll have a prize and a track for that as well. So if you are aware of any businesses that you think has a great business idea to take their business to the next level in Union Township and within a DDA or a high impact corridor, we would love to talk to them and have them participate in this event that we've now done for 4 years in a row. On the next page that I want to take you to, we'll go to page 12. 11 and 12, we feature some of the work that we've been doing with talent. Our 40 Under 40 is always a really wonderful way for us to highlight and celebrate young professionals across our service area. We started doing this as part of our Coming Home initiative a few years back. Last year was our first year where we hosted our own singular event just for our 40 Under 40 winners and family members and colleagues. And this event is something that we partner with area chambers on, but we do this because we want to make sure that young people know that this is a great place to be. We want to make sure that we're retaining young people and that we're attracting young people to the area. And so this has been a great way to do that. Nominations are currently being accepted for this year's round. So if you know of anybody under the age of 40 that you'd want to nominate, please do so. Again, it's just a really great way to highlight those individuals and make sure that when people are looking at our communities, that they know that this is a really great place to call home. We had also the opportunity to partner with CMU Athletics this year, and we promoted our Middle Michigan Centered campaign for young professionals, as well as participated in etiquette dinners and interview skills. We were able to launch that alongside our After Central program, which was an opportunity to work with our graduating students from CMU over a couple of years and provide them with some wraparound supports so that they would stay in the area. We have 9 individuals that are able to be a part of that program. We have 8 right now with our 9th in process, and most of them have chosen to live within Union Township. And so I think that that's something really special to note. We also were able to partner with Union Township on providing some passes to the dog park, if that is something that they were interested in. Again, trying to focus in on quality of life, helping them to really put some roots down right here. On the next page, we have some information on tackling workforce barriers, including childcare. Middle Michigan last year was selected to oversee a wage pilot program for childcare providers across 9 counties. This particular program allowed us to be eligible for $1.6 million through the state, and those funds are able to go out to those who work within childcare, with the hope that by providing $200 and $300 stipends a month, that we will retain those individuals longer in the child care centers that we have. And as of today, we have been able to provide just over $43,000 in stipends to providers in Union Township. And so this is a program that continues through 2027 at least. We do believe that there's a very high likelihood that that will continue on for at least another year, which will give us some time to think through how that can be a sustainable program. But we had 213 applications in total come in for that program, and then 1,574 individuals that represented. Over the last few years, we've also had some planning grants that we've received. I just received a report a couple of days ago that shows that we are seeing an increase in spots being available, more child care centers opening, and that burden that we're seeing some of our parents who want to work really being reduced. So we're excited that we're seeing this program work as we continue to look at barriers to work for those that are within our communities. On the next page, we talk about another barrier that our employers often will share with us, finding affordable housing. And with affordable housing, we have been able to work with MISHDA and their My Neighborhood program and start to get more housing units built. In Union Township, we did have one My Neighborhood grant that we were successful in helping someone achieve, and that resulted in about $440,000 that went towards building some new housing units. We need in Isabella County about 1,000, I think it's a little over 1,000 housing units by within the next few years. So we have our work cut out for us to make sure that we're continuing to provide enough housing to keep up with demand, particularly in Isabella County. In 2026, we also launched a Central Michigan specific housing coalition that brings together individuals that are working in this space within the 3 counties that we work with specifically. There are some regional coalitions that cover much larger areas of the state, and we wanted to make sure that we were being very proactive in attracting developers to our area and making sure that we were providing the right tools for the communities that we happen to be in. And then on the next page, on page 15, we have a few additional stories. I just wanted to highlight that one of the investments that we were able to report on was My Michigan's Pickard Street building. They were able to invest about $3 million into that location. And so we're always really excited when we see businesses that are here reinvesting into their spaces and into our communities. I know that the Clare Hospital has gotten a lot of attention with some of the work that they're doing there, but the location here as well has been upgraded and has had some renovations taking place. just over this last year. This report is something that I hope you have a chance to look at more thoroughly after the meeting today. And then if you have any questions, I'm always more than happy to answer any of those. If there are programs of interest that you want to make sure you know more about, or there are businesses that you want me to connect with, that's always something that I'm very happy to do. You can also communicate that with Rodney, and Rodney will also let me know. And we'll make sure that we are meeting with the businesses that are across our communities. One of the other things that I did want to share, so in the report you'll see this last year especially, we had quite a few business expansions that were taking place. We had one new particular company that moved into a new building within our area. This last week I was in New York and I was meeting with site selectors, making sure that we're staying on track of what's trending, what do we need to know as a community to make sure that we're ready for businesses that may want to call this place home. And so when we talk about doing site development, which we're working on a development guide right now, that will include some priority sites for Union Township, as well as identifying different parcels that may make sense for a variety of developments. We want to make sure that we're doing that not only for businesses that might be coming in, but also for those that are here and who are looking to expand. We don't want them to expand elsewhere. We want them to stay here. And so having those sites ready is really important. And so my team is working on that pretty diligently. They have been last year and this year. And so we're excited for that development guide and when we'll be able to share that with everybody. I also wanted to highlight, though, that as we're talking about those who might want to come here, in 2026, so January through July, we received 11 requests for information from the MEDC. Of those, 64% requested an existing building or build to suit. And then we also had 91% of the requests having some sort of building component included in that. 9% requested land only. The minimum square feet that we were looking at on average for a building was 110,000. The maximum was 244,000. Only 3 sites requested a building less than 100,000 square feet. Purchasing versus lease, 55% had no preference, 27% wanted for sale only, 18% for lease only. And so just, I think, important as we continue to think about how we want to develop sites and what companies are looking for in terms of sites that are ready for development. And with that, I will take any questions if there are any questions. Yes.
Well, comment first. I just want to say that's a pretty good looking picture of your ex officio member on page 18, who happens to also be sitting in the room with us.
Mm-hmm.
We're lucky to have him on our board here. But
Here.
back on 14, when you were talking about the additional housing needs for
Yep.
Isabella County, is that broken down by area, by township, or is it just county-wide in general? I'm
Yeah,
just
there's
wondering how detailed that need might be. You know, is it Mount Pleasant more? Is there any way to break that down into a smaller fraction?
There are a few different housing studies that have been done, and so there are some that allow us to look at some of the cities a little more specifically, and then some by county. And so we are working right now along with that housing coalition to have an even better understanding of what we're looking at on a more specific level.
Okay, so that's maybe in the pipeline, possibly? Okay.
Yes.
If I may.
Mhm, please.
Yeah. So for the East Michigan Council of Governments, which are a regional planning entity that also deals with transportation planning, but they also became the lead for a time related to a statewide housing plan effort. They contracted with a company called Bowen National Research to do a region-wide analysis for the region they cover. That covers part of the area that the MMDC covers. It doesn't cover all 3 counties. And within that, they offered local governments the opportunity to have a more detailed look at the local level. Both the city of Mount Pleasant and Union Township participated in that. So we do have a township-specific housing evaluation from the Bowen National Research Company that provides that kind of data. In fact,
So that's available through you.
yes, it's available if anybody wants to see it. I'm happy to provide it. I don't believe we have it posted on our website, but our planning commission's been making use of it as part of their working on updating the master plan.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions?
I just have some comments, brief.
Yeah.
I just really like the programs that, one, try to reach out to those that are getting educated here and trying to retain them in our community. And that the ones that are really directed at workforce retainment, which is childcare and this housing that we're talking about, those aren't always seen as items as direct as just trying to plant a new business in town, right? But if you don't have workers that can have housing and childcare, so those are great. I just wanted to
Thank you.
give you kudos on that.
I will say, so, we meet with businesses regularly, and so we try to be really responsive to what the businesses bring to us as challenges. And housing and childcare are two of those barriers that get brought up over and over again. And so we work with a lot of partners to try to help relieve some of that barrier as much as we can. And so it is different than what economic development, I think, has looked like in the past, but I think this holistic approach is really important as we continue to work towards supporting our businesses and our communities. Okay, well, thank you so much. I am grateful for your partnership, and if there are ever any questions or ways that we can continue to support, please let Rodney know, let myself know, and we will be very, very happy to work together.
Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 8, the reports, accounts payable.
Good afternoon. I'll point out on the accounts payable, there's not anything out of the ordinary as far as payables this month. If you've gone through the East DDA district, you'll see that the Art Reach banners have been installed. There's been flower and landscape maintenance done, the typical payables that we have each month. If you go to page 2 on your distribution report, you'll see a breakdown of the East versus the West DDA funds and how much was paid for each of those. And then if anybody has any questions on any of the payables, I'm happy to answer questions on those.
Do we approve those anymore, or are they just paid?
You should make a motion.
Make a
For
motion
both of them, all combined.
to pay the East and West DDA bills as presented.
Support.
Motion by Salad, support by Fig, to approve the payables as presented. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. And payables are approved.
And then you've got your revenue and expenditure reports and your balance sheets. There's nothing that I need to point out on those that's out of the ordinary from what we normally see each month. In your packets, you will notice that there is an investment report. This is new. Back in May, the Board of Trustees approved an updated investment policy that the Finance Office brought to them. And so with that investment policy, we've included in there, we are going to start providing the Board of Trustees a quarterly investment report. And so I wanted to provide same to you guys as well, so you could take a look at the portfolio summary and the portion that the East and the West DDA districts own of that whole portfolio. There's a couple different sections within this investment report. So you'll see we started with the investment type and our portfolio as a whole. So you've got your demand deposits, so all of our bank accounts that we currently hold. We have a Michigan class pool and then an insured cash sweep account through Isabella Bank. And then you'll see the fixed income listed as well, which is our certificates of deposit with Isabella Bank. And then on page 2, we list out the portfolio by financial institution. So we're basically showing you the different ways to look at the portfolio and how it's broken down between what bank account or what investment vestibule we're using. And then we go further in to split out by fund. So you can see on here the East and the West DDA districts and what % of the portfolio as a whole those funds own. And then CDs again are listed out separate. Those are not considered a liquid fund. You can't just go in and take the cash out to use those funds. And then on the last page, you'll see interest earnings by each fund year to date, so through the end of June, how much interest each fund has received through the portfolio as a whole. And so if you look at the East and West, in our original budget, we list out what we're planning to get in interest. If we stay on the same track, which we're expected to, we're gonna exceed those original budget numbers that we had originally planned or estimated. So I wanted to provide that. We will start providing that each quarter, and it'll be the meeting following the end of the quarter that we'll get that to you guys. So if anybody has any questions on that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
When, there's a couple that say the maturity date has arrived. A couple of the investments, those just roll back into the general fund.
So
I'm looking at 2/21/26 and 7/16/26. That 4.17 interest rate was awful nice, probably going away.
So that one did actually roll into the general fund after the end of June. We are planning to invest those funds into the insured cash sweep, which is getting a little bit higher interest rate than some of the other funds. But with that CD expiring, we don't necessarily always get that same rate when we renew. And so part of the plan with the new investment policy was to try to diversify some of our funds, and to make sure that all of the funds that we have, or we're trying to move more funds to be able to say those funds are insured by the FDIC. So some of those funds we are moving into other investment vestibules, so like the Michigan class account. And then that insured cash sweep is through Isabella Bank. But how that works is they sweep our cash out of our account and invest in other entities that are FDIC insured, so that we're diversifying those funds. They're still managed within the same financial institution, but we're able to still get higher interest rates, and those funds are covered as well through the FDIC.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
You answered mine with that answer.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys.
Yep, thank you. So let's let the record show the financials were presented and received with the additional investment report, which is nice. Thank you.
Yes.
And moving on to item 8B, for your review, there's the board member matrix spreadsheet. Moving on to 8C in your packet, we also have the Community and Economic Development Report dated July 2026. Any highlights there? Anything you want to point out?
I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has about the report.
That's a good report for us to see overall,
Yeah.
what everybody's doing.
coordinating it with us.
Agreed.
No, appreciate the report. Going to agenda item 8C. Looks like we had some trees removed. 8D, a letter from MDOT.
This is an item that has been on my radar for some time now. Went back and forth with our local MDOT office about these trees. These are some trees right along the road. They're in the road right of way. They're basically the three closest trees to the South Somerton intersection. They're on the south side of Pickard Road. And the reason they're being removed is actually due to the closure of the Leeton Road intersection with Pickard. What happened when MDOT decided to close that, working with the tribe to improve safety at Leeton Road, they actually closed that intersection. And so people wanting to go south to north on Leeton have to do the Michigan left. Now they turn right and do the Michigan left. The challenges are some farm equipment. We have a farmer that farms on both sides of Leeton Road, and they had trouble getting their farm equipment through that arrangement. And so they began using Somerton Road for that farm equipment. And of course, not a signalized intersection. The farm equipment is significantly taller than passenger vehicles or pickup trucks and such. And in this farm equipment, up at that height, those trees are blocking vision of vehicles coming eastbound on Pickard Road for the farmer. And so the farmer asked for the trees to come down, back and forth with MDOT. MDOT did make some changes to what they did at Leeton Road to try to accommodate the farmer, but not able to work that out. And so MDOT is exercising their option, their right, it's their right of way to remove those trees. This is simply the notice that was going to happen.
They are the ornamental trees that the DDA owned or planted, or they're just some?
No, these are trees that we planted, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And MDOT has offered to try to find an alternative location perhaps for some of the trees. We have not gone any further with discussing that yet, but there may be some opportunity down the road.
Seems like there's trees on the north side too, they're just younger, and those may become a similar issue down the road.
Yeah, interesting enough, so far, that hasn't been part of the conversation.
Really?
Now, of course, we are talking with MDOT about MDOT's plans for improving that intersection. And they're looking at a roundabout design for that. And really, with that design, that will solve the problem anyway. It will both solve the problem of how you get through there and what visibility you need. It'll also probably solve the problem with the trees, because the roundabout design would have wiped the trees out on the south side and will probably wipe the ones out on the north side. So we're going to suffer the consequences anyway.
At least a couple of them.
At least a couple of them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And moving on to agenda item number 9, new business. Looks like we have some requests for board action items. Starting with 9A. What do we got there?
Well, thank you. This is a request to essentially to approve an updated rate schedule and a new service agreement for our current contractor, County's Lawn Care. The news mentioned this a moment ago. County's Lawn Care provides our sidewalk snowplow services in both DDA districts. They've been doing that for the past 3 years, and they are proposing to do it for another 3. We're very happy to receive that proposal, and that the rate schedule you have in your packet. It does include an increase. Costs do go up, but that increase is reasonable. We found no concern with what was proposed there. The scope of services would remain the same. The service areas would remain the same. As noted in this report, one of the service areas actually is outside of our DDA districts. It's the section of sidewalk that runs along the side of the building here out to McDonald Park. That's paid for with general fund resources. The others are all within our east or west DDA districts. And as I said, we're happy to recommend Johnny's Lawn Care to you to continue our relationship going forward.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the updated rate schedule for our current contractor, Johnny's Lawn Care LLC, to provide snow plowing services for public sidewalks within parts of the east and west DDA districts beginning January 1st, 2027 through December 31st, 2029, with an option to extend the contract by mutual agreement and to authorize Township Manager Mark Studraw to sign an updated service agreement for these services.
Support. With one, maybe just a little statement. It's a small addition where the traffic lights cross, the pedestrian lights. We know we go straight down Pickard, but we don't have any, you don't generally go where the pedestrians cross, where there's lights that cross Pickard. You don't generally do that little stretch. So you're jumping over the snowbank to try to cross Pickard. You know what I'm saying? Just that little.
Is this at the intersection?
Yeah, yeah, the intersection.
Probably Isabel Road.
Mostly down by the ramps.
Oh,
By the ramps where there's traffic lights, like in front of Home Depot,
Okay.
and then there's another like by the coming off the going south ramp. There's pedestrian crossings, but we don't get that little stretch there, so that any pedestrian pretty much has to jump over a snowbank. And it ain't a big area; it's just a little addition, but figure it into the price and maybe bump it up a little bit and include it.
Talk with the contractor and see if we can get that done. I think that's, I appreciate.
As
you
a
letting me
frequent
know.
pedestrian in that neighborhood, I walk to Starbucks a lot.
So this is right around the interchange.
Yeah, right over, we do straight down the road, but we don't do
Yeah.
where anybody crossing would actually cross at.
Okay, thank you.
Any more comments or questions? Got a motion on the floor by Bars, support by Bacon. Hearing no more comments, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
aye.
All opposed, the same. Hearing no opposition, the motion is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
And moving on to agenda item 9B, we have another request for board action. Looks like we have the Graber Associates updated agreement.
Well, thank you. I should have a copy of our report, dated July 13th. It starts on page 55 of the packet. And this is response to our discussions, previous meetings about restarting the process of reinstalling irrigation along M20 in that area that was impacted by construction in 2023. Mr. Draper is with us. He did put together that request a proposal to essentially start up where he left off. As you recall, we hired Draper and Associates to both evaluate the irrigation along there, and then ultimately to design a plan, put together an installation plan, construction plan. At that point, the project stalled. There was some disagreement about whether to move forward. And so with the consensus to do that now, we've asked Draper to provide an updated proposal. What you see essentially follows the same format as what was provided before, similar cost structure. This would essentially start off with, at the point of putting together the bid proposal and working on that side of things. and move forward through helping with bid selection and management of the construction project with a successful bidder. One item I'll note, on page 57, under project timeline, speaking with Mr. Graber, and he had suggested that we look at a January timeframe for putting things out for bid, that would fit well with the timing for when the likely providers, contractors of the service would be looking for this type of work to do. And if we bid it at that time, that we're likely to get more and probably more responsive proposals than we would right now. Those same contractors right now are very, very busy. So that's with your agreement, that's what we would look for, is basically to prepare to have the bids go out, for the invitation to bid go out in January. With that, I can answer any questions. Mr. Graber is also here. He can answer any questions we have.
Like to make a resolution to approve the proposal from Graber and Associates LLC, Jeff Graber, in the amount of $12,500 for irrigation system site review, bid review, and assistance and construction administration services for installation of the underground irrigation system along the north and south sides of East Pickard Road, M20, from west of the US 127 interchange to near Packard Street, and to authorize Township Manager Mark Struhldreyer to sign a service agreement for this project.
Support.
Got a motion by Big, support by Coyne. Any comments?
Just to note, last time when we decided to move forward, asked Rodney to bring this back, there was a question, and I believe, Jim, I thought it was yours, regarding certifications to a single company. Maybe it was someone else.
That was me. I just wanted to know if it
My
was been
apologies,
open
Jim.
to-
Yep.
So I
yeah.
thought this might be a good opportunity, since we weren't fully able to answer that, if you wanted to ask it again.
No, I think the question had to do with the manufacturer. I think it was Hunter was specific.
Yeah, but there was
And
certain.
my question was making sure that even local contractors would have availability to that
Oh, yeah.
product. Like
They
that-
would.
that-
They do. Tila does.
Yeah, and I think, I know my concern, you know, as we go forward with this, is that we end up with an out-of-town contractor. Nothing wrong with out-of-town contractors. I've been one myself. But we're gonna rely on our local provider to service what gets installed. And I can tell you from contracting world, you get what you pay for. So I would just, I'll put it out there right now that we're gonna look, you know, we may or may not, we may or may not exercise our right to reject any and all bids. So.
Question, Jeff, is there a specific reason that you focused on Hunter as the preferred choice for equipment?
Not really. It's just, it's readily available. The equipment is being used on other projects in the area as well. When I talked with Teal and Turf initially about when the existing system was here, they had said that that's what was used out there before. And so thinking that maybe just continue on. But really the big manufacturers are Toro, Rainbird, and Hunter. And so if you wanted me to show all three and get bids for each of those, I can absolutely do that. So
I don't think
that might
that'd be a
the way
bad
to do
idea
it.
myself. It would seem like that would be always better to have a little more to compare to.
Yeah, and that's fine. So
I mean,
can do
they're,
that.
do you feel they're all more or less as equal, or you probably have some
Yeah, I
preferences,
think they're
but-
pretty much as equal.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
for what we're doing.
Does Tila offer all three of those?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Wouldn't you know, it started to rain when this topic was brought up. You know, if I could just close that blind.
Thank you for your patience.
Every meeting this summer.
Any more questions or comments?
I'm glad we're moving this next step at least.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
We're hopefully moving. We'll see how the vote goes.
There's a little dark side to Hannah's increased income, interest income, is that we're not spending enough. So, but thank you for investing it
We've
wisely.
got a little while to digest it too, so between now and January, when it even goes out, let alone comes back.
Yep.
That's a Zoom meeting.
So we got a motion on the floor, motion by, was that Fig, support by Coin. So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. And the motion is approved. And moving on to item 9C. Looks like we have some discussion, introduction, Airport Road, Packard Road area. What do we got there, Rodney?
Thank you. This, recall this, this board is included in the budget, looking at the East EDA for road projects, specifically looking at trying to improve the existing industrial area road situation. This is the area basically bounded by East Airport Road, Park Place, Corporate Way, Corporate Drive, and Packard Street. This is, as I said, it's, most of the land area bound by that is zoned industrial. There's some older industrial projects, developments there. There's a couple of actually expansions that are currently going through site plan approval that we're looking forward to seeing happen. But the roads there are challenging. Airport Road is a public road, or at least maintained by the county as a public road. But it's a gravel road, which is troublesome for industrial. Packard Street is a private road, as you can see on the maps we provided. It is not maintained. It partially paved, partially gravel, and down at the north end of it, a interesting challenge down there. And then some of the internal roads, Park Place, Corporate Way, those are paved roads, but they are private. The pavement's actually in pretty good shape considering its age, but they're not. None of these roads are all season roads, and certainly the condition of the roads in that area is impeding any kind of industrial development. We've had several folks looking at projects in that area that so couldn't accommodate them because the road wouldn't accommodate them. One of the other interesting ones, if you look on the map that we provided, this is from Gordy Fraser Associates, you'll see Corporate Drive along the south end. You see it's hashed in yellow to the left of Packard Street, to the west of Packard Street. That is a paved city public road. And then you see kind of a variety of hash marks and lines going to the east of Packard Street. You'll see the blue there, which shows the extent of a private road easement. But you'll note that for the first part there, that just east of Packard Street, the southern half of that right-of-way, we have no information on. It does not exist. It is implied that there's a right-of-way there, but there is no detail, there's no dimension, there's no description. It's simply essentially implied that there is a half right-of-way on that little stretch. So that's why it's shown in that kind of purple color. But as I said, Gordy Fraser went through a very laborious process to hunt down all the details for these rights-of-way and confirm whether they're public or private. Some are, that's more clear than others, but based on their research, they concluded essentially that only airport is public as it's currently recorded. So these other, what that means for us is that essentially to do work on these other roads, we need the agreement from the property owners that are responsible for these roads. We certainly, in talking with the property owners, some of them are very interested in pursuing this, others are not. But it's something that we, if there's consensus on this board to continue to pursue this project, which essentially is looking at trying to set these roads up as all-season Class A public roads. So they would be ultimately brought into the road commission's maintenance program. And if this is something you're still have a consensus to do, we will make the further effort to identify these property owners and connect with them and get what we need from them to be able to move forward with the project.
Really, it's the only property left in the township that could be developed, isn't it? I mean,
Right, yes, there is substantial industrial land here that's vacant. Right, beyond this, there's some acreage that's owned by Bandit Industries on their property that they have not yet developed, but they have long-term plans, and a couple of other small parcels. But this is really the substantial acreage for industrial.
Right by the expressway.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, I would think that the people who are a bit hesitant, you know, we should let them know that we are willing to invest money to increase the value of their property. And that I think that is something that we are all
Yes.
behind.
yeah.
Yes.
And we will certainly do that. Let them know this is a project
some
in the
carrots.
ADA district. We expanded the district to be able to do this project, and
They will financially benefit from the increased value of
exactly.
being
Yeah.
able to sell that someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are certainly willing to invest in it.
Yeah, essentially, what we would need from each of them, and exactly how this would look, will have to be determined. But we're really looking essentially for some sort of new easement document, something that will allow these private rights of way to be converted to public. And so one of the next questions is to actually talk to our township attorney about what does that look like, and have some kind of an agreement that we can then share with each of the property owners.
Road commissions in agreement with what is drawn here now?
Well, the road commission is in agreement that they only maintain Airport Road officially. I will tell you that they maintain some of the other roads unofficially. But we are, of course, MMR has their headquarters here, and so the road commission makes sure that they don't get plowed, they're snowed in. Even if Packard Street is private, it gets plowed by the road commission on that paved stretch. Yes, the road commission has indicated that they would be happy to look at a plan. Essentially, it would be up to us through Gordy Fraser to put that plan together for the road construction, and to provide all the stuff that we need to show that we have the right to be there, the right to work, and the right ultimately for this to become public. If we do all that work, they'll look at it and move forward with it. So that's where we are with the road commission.
So
I do appreciate that, because actually that was not where we had been.
That's significant movement from
Yes.
the last story
Yes.
I heard.
Right. Yes.
So that's great.
prefer not to add roads to the maintenance schedule.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah,
So-
I understand, but that's an argument, not a very good one.
And especially
Well put.
here, because essentially these roads become the turnaround for the plows.
Yeah.
It really doesn't add anything to
Yeah.
the length of things.
Yeah, and just legally cleaning up that area is worth our investment to at least go to the next step, which would be content, to try to pull that off. I won't be around to see that done, but it'll.
So-
You gotta start, and you got, it's a tough job, and, so, yeah, I wholly support, tackling it, and hopefully, we are able to pull that off and get everybody's consent to move forward, because it will definitely, like I say, improve land values and their and improve, like I say, first of all, you gotta find us a place to outlet some storm drainage. So, yeah, but, that'll be the easy part. The landman aspects will be or woman, will be the tough part.
I don't need a formal action today, but as I said, I just wanted to make sure that there's still a consensus among the board to pursue this. It sounds like there is. I'm seeing,
Yeah.
Yes,
nodding
yes.
I want to say consensus.
Yeah.
So the road was built by someone paid for it, whether it be one property owner here or probably several, or taxpayers, right? Possibly, we don't know.
Well, this was actually, most of this was built by a developer in the late 70s, 1970s.
And then parceled this up?
They parceled it out and built the road network. Airport existed. Airport.
Yeah.
The reason airport looks like it does is because the freeway came through and cut it off. But it certainly was an existing gravel road before. But Corporate Drive, Corporate Way, Park Place, those little internal roads there were all part of a small development project that apparently the developer intended to make them public, but never completed the process. And ultimately, they were recorded as private.
Do you remember the name? Was that Murphy?
I do not recall the name, no.
I think it was Mike Murphy.
But this isn't gonna be like an assessment district where you forget 50+% of the property owners wanting to do this. You need easement from anybody that's got property that
It's gonna
owns part
become
of that
right
road.
away.
Yeah, right? I mean, this is, everybody's gotta get on board.
So, right, yes, we need everybody on board for the easement, in order to be able to work there.
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's parts, obviously, the part of, what is it, corporate east of Packard. I mean, if you can't deal with that property owner, you could still do the other Park Place and around there if they're agreeable. I'm assuming you have a couple, 2 or 3 different owners, property owners that are gonna be involved.
Yeah, I would say the Packard Street, if there's a one that's necessary for this to work, it's Packard Street, since that's a north-south connector up to airport. The internal streets, Packard Park Place and such, as I said, they're paved. They're actually not in bad shape considering that it's older pavement, and they can remain private. Those property owners are responsible then to maintain it and redo it when it fails. Our goal is, of course, try to get all of it, because there really is value in the entire area being upgraded.
So by not making these public, though, it's quite possible the road commission might decide, we're not gonna plow that anymore.
Right.
Sounds like you need to be the negotiator.
We'll continue to work on it.
Save that
Yeah.
quill for a little later.
We'll continue to
Carrots
work on
and-
it.
carrots and
We'll
sticks.
update you as things
Yeah.
move forward.
Yeah,
Okay.
continue. to
No,
work.
great job.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you.
This has
Thank
been
you.
a confusion area for quite a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just a little less murky now.
Yep. And we got, moving on to item D, got 2027 priority budget discussion.
So everybody should have a copy of the memo dated July the 14th. It starts on page 69 of the packet. This, similar, you've seen this in the past, but starting our budget cycle. So the process right now of developing a staff, township administration staff, or the process of developing a recommended budget that would come to you and also come to our, the 2 DDA districts, and then come to our board of trustees as well. So these are just some items. None of these should be surprises. Many of them are items that are in one form or another carrying over, including the work on those roads by Gordy Frazier, as that continues to move forward. We do have some sidewalk projects that we still hope and believe we can get easements for. And so they were kept in the 2027 budget. There's some other sidewalk projects that we moved into the capital improvements plan. So that's why I included that at the back. And where changes were made to that plan, those are the changes are highlighted in yellow. That just basically carry that forward. You'll see some items that were moved out to future years. so because we're not able to pursue those, usually sidewalks usually for these issues. In some cases, it's because of other work. We had a plan to install gateway signage out at Somerton and M20, a nice welcome to Union Township sign. And our MDOT roundabout project has taken that off the table for now. And so when that's done, we'll pick that one up again. So we just moved it into a future year in the capital improvements program. There are a couple items that may be coming yet. Actually, talking about that road project at Somerton Road, MDOT has asked for local help with two elements of that roundabout project. One is lighting, street lighting. They'd like to extend street lighting around the perimeter of the roundabout. And the other is with some landscaping maintenance. Basically, somebody that they plan to install some landscaping within the roundabout. It's really just decorative grasses and some low items, shrubs and such that would be in there. It's basically to create some height for that roundabout area. So traffic coming in will see that that's a roundabout in the road. Similar to what's been done on the Mission Street roundabout. But they would like help with long-term maintenance. And so as that project begins to solidify, we may be coming back to you to propose to include some provisions in the capital improvements program related to street lighting and that landscaping maintenance. The tribe is also working on looking at that as well. So this is something that I think it's a collaborative effort. But the idea would be really to extend the street lights at least similar to the design we already have. It may not be the same fixture, but a similar design that would go around the roundabout, and then somebody to power them and maintain them. That's what they're looking for. So, and the reason for that is simply how these projects are funded at the state and the federal level now. With the Buy America program that most of this money now has as a requirement, it's actually very, very difficult to buy American lighting. Almost the entire lighting industry was shipped over to China in the 1990s. I know I was in that business at the time. I witnessed it happen. And while some of it's come back, it's still very, very difficult to buy American-made light fixtures, especially these big units like the street lights. So having a local partner do that part helps them to be successful in moving this project forward. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions about what's kind of the highlighted items to include in our budget for the coming year. And if there's anything else, if there's anything I missed, that should be in here. I'm certainly happy to add it in.
Are you referring to the street lighting in the West DDA on Remus Road? Is that what you were?
Well, this would we do have in the budget to do street lighting along Remus Road, but this was actually the Somerton Road intersection where MDOT is proposing a roundabout that they've asked for help with street lighting and with that landscape maintenance.
I can't read this small. Is it on this proposal for 27, the street lighting for Remus Road?
Yeah, there is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. I just
second.
couldn't see it on there. Sorry.
Yeah, second item, and it's also listed on in the memo.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One other thing we talked about it a little bit, and it's been ongoing since the intersection of Broomfield and Lincoln has been done, but was actually quite a while getting to that point of actually being done. And it created a situation, the bridge was done, the intersection was delayed, and now we're sitting there waiting for what's going to happen with the rest of Lincoln Road to the north of the bridge. And I think it creates a hazard myself. Driving down through there, it's almost a 3-lane situation that goes down to a 2-lane situation, and the traffic is only increasing year by year in that area. And we've brought it up here a couple of different times. And it's an important route for a lot of commerce for our truckers, as well as pedestrians, bikers, people that are working out, doing things on that road, and then just the general commuter that goes that way from Canadian Lakes to Detroit or vice versa. There's just such a heavy flow of traffic there. And it seems like there should be something done. It just wasn't done when it maybe should have been, and then now it's lingering. And I think that somehow we have a role in participating and doing something about moving that forward. That's my thought on it. I don't know what everybody else thinks.
It's been kind of postponed, and it's like, I can't remember, it seemed to me the response that was at the county says the road really is okay right now, it doesn't need work, but it doesn't meet frost law requirements, or the Jim, I think.
No, it does not.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the safety issue, frost laws, I mean, is it fair for us to approach the county again and say, you know, we would like to revisit the thing? I don't know if that's fair.
Well, we have, and I apologize for the small print. I'll fix that so it's easier to read.
Thank you. I'm sorry I can't read.
No, I perfectly understand it. As I'm looking at here, go ahead. But this item is in the West EDA
Okay.
Capital Improvements Program. It's currently
Thank you.
listed as being out further. It's actually under the 2030 category, and it's really for exactly the reason that was said, and that is that the road commission had said the road it's in a condition that doesn't warrant doing anything with it right now, other than normal maintenance, crack sealing, that sort of thing. If they were to update it, it would be a major reconstruction because there's some drainage and slopes and such and that would have to be updated. So they don't want to tear up a perfectly good road.
Agree. It has been a great road for whatever reason, though it holds up.
And the other element of that is that MDOT has some long-term thoughts about improvements to the intersection at Remus and Lincoln.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of part of that picture is coordinating those things. But that again is very long-term. I'm not even sure that that's beyond a thought right now.
In order to do what Marty suggested and what I've talked about before, it's, as I go get my lunch every afternoon, that intersection needs a lot of work, and that is an MDOT project. But, for example, on the preliminary drawings that they drew up several years ago when we talked about, making it 3 or 4 lanes, they put in a wider turn radius there in front of outskirts. Well, there's the traffic signal pole is there, consumers has got a pole, all the utilities are hanging on that, that's got to be moved. You look at the stacking, you look at that whole intersection, really needs to be looked at and done, and that requires MDOT, that's going to be an MDOT project, before, kind of like what they did down at the intersection of Lincoln and Broomfield, you have to get that intersection done really, and then connecting the dots will be a lot there. My conversations informally, not as just as a citizen, not as a representative of the board, because that's not right, but in my conversations with the road commission with Pat is, they would really like to have some direction from the township as to what that is going to look like. And so I guess between poking, if I could have a magic wand, poke MDOT and see, hey, we'll kick it, we have some funds available to get that intersection straight out. You could see where MDOT's crews, redid the curve. Well, if you ever watch a truck make a turn going north or south or vice versa, they're running over the curbs and, so like I say, that intersection is probably the best place to start. And once that's done, connecting the rest of the road will be easy. But I guess I would advocate to whoever our contacts are at the TSC, see about if we've got to put some money out there, offer use some matching funds or whatever, see if we can't get that done, because I've said my piece before. I think that's, you've got 3/4 of the job done, and we need to finish it.
So you're suggesting go to, contact MDOT before we get, before the county?
Because
gotta-
the county can't go to MDOT and say, hey, here's our plans to redo the intersection. And the fact that it's on MDOT's radar, it may be out in the future, but I think, and just one of the little things is when they did the last traffic light upgrade, they took down all the pedestrian signals.
That's right.
So whether they're still there where they can pick it up or whatever, but as we put sidewalks, as we move traffic, through that corridor, those need to go back up. And that's just one of the pieces of the puzzle. So I'm not familiar with how MDOT works. My guess is if you said, hey, we would kick in a substantial portion of this upgrade, the DDA, if that's what the board wished, I would like to think MDOT would move it up.
We could even put some lights in over on Pickard for them.
We could.
Yeah.
We
They
could.
can
Maybe
they
some
can make a
maintenance on
couple there and maintain their,
Another issue might be safety, because I think everybody here drives that intersection a fair amount of times, some more than others, but at night, it's dark. It
Yeah,
is, and the cars coming down 20 are usually at a really high clip.
Yeah.
And if you can't see somebody, and if your eyesight is, maybe you shouldn't be driving at night even, but the trees that are there on that southwest corner, just the darkness that's going on, I think it's a safety concern as well. Maybe that's a way to look at it and start promoting. You don't want to see somebody have an accident there that's tragic, but at the same time, maybe just putting it on the burner as this is a safety problem, and if something does happen, they might have a better reason to move on it. But I do think safety is a big concern there. I pull up there and it's hard to see what's going on, coming east or, coming from the west.
When we actually worked with Township staff, we worked with the road commission staff to try to improve their legs, the Lincoln Road leg of that intersection, because the left-hand turn lanes were not lined up.
Right.
And
There is no,
I don't know if you've been, if this just,
Now
not
it's-
that long ago, just months ago,
The-
they restriped that.
Yeah.
And they straightened the lanes out, and now you can actually see the oncoming traffic if you're in left-hand turn lane, where you could not see it before. And that was, like, so we worked with them, we drew it out, we said, you got room, you can still have all the lane width you need, but you can, if you just slide it over, you get a line the lanes up, and to their credit, they did, they looked at it, they made the change.
Fairly quickly.
They did, yes, and so I appreciate that very much, their responsiveness to that, and that helped that intersection. Interesting, the darkness element is a difficult one. It has an overhead light, it's Consumers Energy light. I don't recall if it's working now or not. It sometimes is working, but I've been through there at night recently. But Consumers no longer supports those overhead lights. They only support ground-mounted streetlights. And so that down at Broomfield, that's what we put in. And the West EDA paid for the street light that's down there at Broomfield and Lincoln to light that intersection up. The challenge with this one at Lincoln and Remus is they may redo the intersection. Do we want to put another item that might be in the way of redoing that intersection? And so we have not pursued trying to add lighting, Consumers Energy lighting. Now, if we do add decorative lighting along Remus to the east, that will help to light that intersection up. And we'll just have to plan to put those lights in a way that won't impact the intersection itself. A little more spacing from it probably. But that's one way to light that up is with the decorative lights. So it is an interesting challenge. As I said, right now it's a little further out simply because the road's in good shape, and so it doesn't warrant tearing it up. And that's why we've taken these other steps we've had to improve things, at least to a more graduated level. We do have some roads in the East DDA, Broomfield basically, Broomfield and Isabella. There's some sections there that the road commission has come to us about possibly helping to support some paving work there. Now, in that case, it's mill and replace the surface layer. It's not a major redo. Probably some curbing and such as well. And those are also in the capital improvements plan. In fact, they're the shaded items that are on that plan. All those shaded items there where it says to be determined, we don't have the cost yet. That's essentially a group of road projects that also include the ones we just were talking about, Packard Street and the rest, that we'd like ultimately to package together and have a bond for to fund them, that would be funded through the EDA. That's all, we're working on it, but it's really those East EDA ones, Isabella, Broadway, and whatever we can get done on Packard Street and such are I think, nearer to being possible than the Lincoln Road, simply because that road is still in good shape.
I know roads can be frustrating. It's a lot of
Well,
challenge.
Well, I guess.
You wouldn't think that it would be, but.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess the only thing I'd add is I would, if you wrote, if we passed an action, they'd be out doing Isabella Road this year. If we told them we'd pay half or something on that. So, you know, it's hard enough to get a consensus on what to do and to get the engineering done and to do something to spend money. The last great project that I was part of out there was where we redid Venture Way in corporate there, an enterprise there. We redid all that and really dressed up that was a huge improvement. But it's scrounging, and not that I'm a big fan of mill and fill on pavement, but we're spending something, because every year for the past several years, and I'm part of the problem, you know, we just roll it over. We said, oh, we're gonna spend $500,000, and at the end of the year, oh, we didn't spend anything, or we spent peanuts. So there's some things like the intersection jobs and that yes, require a lot of engineering, but I would say, I think Isabella and Broadway, the road commission is ready to go. When it comes to paving, I think Pat would, if you dangle a dollar out there, he'd probably get you a price pretty quickly. And I don't know what Central's, they got any capacity left, but it's a local project. So I would really advocate on the east side, not spend the whole, you know, the whole fund equity, but certainly spend a couple $200,000 on it, just to say we spent some money in a cost-efficient manner for a need in the East EDA. So
That's what I was trying to think of ways we could incentivize them, like pay for a Pazer study, maybe some topographic. They probably need to update storm, you know, that all.
yeah, there's the projects I'm talking about specifically are I think they're on the road commission's radar already, and it's just a matter of they've got a contract with Central for so many tons, and I would advocate not to pay for the whole thing, but said, hey, if we kicked in half, we'll match the road commission's fat and make our dollars go a little further. But it'd be a way that we could spend for improvements that I think are needed in the East DA, very heavily traveled road. You drive down Isabella anymore,
Yeah.
So
We have, as I said, these two are in there. It's in their capital improvements program. There's several other roads. There's also the Country Square Estates subdivision.
Yep.
That the road is failing. They are looking at a special assessment district. They actually have put a petition together for that. But it's something where we may want to help that be possible. This is a very lower income area. It's an older, senior citizens in that neighborhood. And so we do have several projects. And as I said, the idea is to put these together and they may be coming back to you for 2027 with them. But, yeah, just put them together as a package rather than piecemeal.
Yeah, and I would respectfully disagree with that, Rodney. They are different types of projects. The mill and fills on Isabella and Broadway, they have contract with Central Asphalt. We could do that literally this year if they had capacity. That is different than doing engineering, because the next, from what I've heard on what you just listed, you can't just overlay
Right.
that. So you're gonna have to do something.
Some of it they may, but yeah, a good chunk is going to be construction.
So and maybe all it needs to be done is pulverized. Like they'll do a county road, they just grind up the gravel underneath that with existing. They make a good road base, raises it up a little bit, you shape it. It's not a total reconstruct there, but that's something that would be a nice little project for any of the local contractors to do. And the third category is, the engineering over there. When the time comes, we're gonna do that, but it's getting, as we've seen ourselves, getting easements, getting property owners to sign off and do that is a very, very hard project. And so you have literally a shovel-ready project that could go right away, and you've got another one's a little bit engineering, and then you've got some others that you gotta deal with property owners. So that's why I respectfully disagree. Rather than trying to roll those up into a big one, I think you just delay everything. And there are some things we could do, and at some point, the political winds will change, and someone's gonna come along and look at our fund equities and said, you're not spending money, send it over. I've seen it happen once before. It really irked me, but that's.
So we haven't, I will tell you that we have addressed that issue as well. Our finance director has addressed that. We have funds reserved. We're talking about this capital improvements program.
Yep.
In connection with that, that we have funds that are reserved for those purposes, for road projects and other
Yep.
projects. So the funds are allocated, but they're not budgeted. And the allocations are based on exactly what's in our capital improvement program. So we're not in that circumstance where it would be able to come and say, take that away, because we've got a plan. And really,
I can tell you that's what I thought until the day it happened. And we were told, again, and that's where I learned at the point, I had thought the DDAs were kind of autonomous and they did their own thing, and yeah, they reported the board. At that point, it was made very clear to me and the rest of the board is Township Board decides those monies are gonna go to the Isabella County Board of Commissioners, that's where they're going. So that's not a legal thing that you can say. I'm just telling you that we had those reserved, or what we thought were set aside to do that, and all of a sudden, gone.
yeah, I will say that's a different circumstance. What I was talking about was the state of Michigan. We report every year and annually to the treasurer related to use of funds and fund balance and such. And we are completely within the law right now in terms of the funds that are available, the timing. We don't have any issue with what the state law requires of us.
No.
Certainly, as you said, DDAs are an interesting situation. You are, let's say, semi-autonomous. That you do approve your own budget, but ultimately the Board of Trustees also has a final approval over that budget.
That's fine.
And so there is a connection between the two, but certainly here, there has never been a conflict between the two in my time. I'm sorry that there was earlier, but I'm aware of it.
As the old geezer on the board.
You are
I don't
absolutely
sense
correct.
that like that. Well, I went through that.
Yes, no, yeah, you're been on there
That's, we
longer
had
than
our
I
own
have.
And I was
building,
here too.
we had
Yeah, oh boy,
everything ourselves.
Yep, so
But I
it's
just
evolved.
We were buying our own lunches.
That's back in the good old days.
Are there any other
No.
comments on this item?
What do you need from us?
The only other, and it was mentioned once, but I mean, easements are gonna be the other hurdle we've gotta overcome on Lincoln.
Yes.
And there's no time like the present to begin to start looking at those easements.
And I think that's where my conversations, you know, with, we do a lot of work with them, and got a good relationship with Pat and also the Pete Lorenz who drew up the plans. I think their original design was to cut, again, was for the Isabella Road thing, and they've since say, no, we're not gonna do that. I think probably, but they would like us to come up with a cross-section of what we're gonna do down through there. But their original design was curb and gutter the whole length down to the bridge, and they were gonna try to drain all the adjacent, cut the road down so it was lower, so that all the surface water, eliminate the ditches, would come over the curbs and onto the water. Some spots, well, first spot is where you come off from there by outskirts, that dips down. They wanted to cut that road right down so to take that water. Same thing when you get down to Independence. You know, the road kind of sits up there, and so they wanted to dip down. Problem is the road, but if you widen that out at all, the water main's gonna be that deep, so you gotta, so, and the only reason I go into that detail is there needs to be some interaction. Okay, how are we gonna do this? What can we do? And I'm certainly probably as familiar with anything in the utilities that are there to help. Okay, let's do this thing, and I have an offer in there, and Pat said he's gonna talk to Tony and get back with me, so I can at least, not again, not as a representative of the board, but start the conversation,
So
so.
the other aspect on Lincoln is sidewalks. You know, we're trying to put sidewalks in,
Yep.
for exactly the reason you were talking about. To bring the road down, we'd make it even harder to be able to put sidewalks in.
Yep.
A 3-lane cross-section with those paved shoulders that we don't talk about, or bike lanes, that can fit within the existing right-of-way. That's what they essentially did in the areas to the south of the river where they had trouble getting easements.
Right.
They get some grading easements to regrade the property, but ultimately right-of-way stayed the same. So that may be what we're looking at ultimately, both because of the topography, but also because of right-of-way availability, that might be a 3-lane cross-section with a little paved
Right,
width.
and that was my point when you brought up the easements, depending on what they do with the road, and if they did what they did south of the bridge, the number of grading easements and such will be a lot easier, a lot less than if what they did originally, which is not feasible in my mind.
But
6 o'clock.
here again, it sounds like we have a consensus related to these items, and certainly more discussion on roads and capital improvement side of things. You will see, like soon, probably next month, I would bet, right? You'll see that the proposed budget, so that'll come back to you in a more formal format. But I appreciate your time and appreciate the conversation.
Yes, same, thank you.
So going on to agenda item 10, pending business. Anything there? Item 11, director comments. There?
We've covered everything today, right?
I think so.
I think so.
I just, my comments were on Lincoln Road. I understand that's like master planning. And I know we've talked about things from here down to the intersection, all the way down to Broomfield. But that's where I go back to storm impact, to topographical. You just get some homework done for them.
Well,
But at
just getting
minimum,
consumers to
the
get their
message I think
focus out of the
you
way.
guys sent to Rodney and the staff was like, we're on board. So feel free, Rodney, to discuss this with MDOT and the county. You know, and we will participate and support that effort. You know, and then same with the Millenville. I hear you. We could get those going quick.
Yeah,
And even this Lincoln, it's not that big of a deal. I mean,
No,
we just rebuilt Leeton Road, everything essentially, we just knocked that in a matter of weeks. You know, but we've had funding.
because, well, and the other thing on Lincoln Road, though, that is a huge plus, unlike M20, if they ever do anything there, is there is storm drainage already there.
Right,
So-
that's a big
Yeah.
benefit.
So you gotta do some tie-ins, but it's there, but anyway.
But the community impacts, the safety issue,
Mhm.
the commercial traffic
Yeah.
issue, These are
It's getting
community
busy. I
impacts.
mean, I
It's
live
not
right,
just a
like
road.
kinda right down here.
Yeah,
I mean, I can
exactly.
see just what you guys, it's busy. Way busier than I've ever seen it, this corner right here.
And the fact that it's not a Class A road is very impactful to a lot of people.
Yep.
Not just the cars going by.
So, in conclusion, what do we have? Any comments? What do we have? These informational meetings coming up?
Next Tuesday.
Same time, same place?
1:30.
Just as a note, I'm on
4:31.
vacation. I'm hoping to be back for that, but it's possible I may not make it back the 28th.
Okay,
So I'm just thinking of quorum.
Yep.
well, appreciate that. And next
We need that
regular
meeting.
meeting, August 18th, with those informational meetings. So look forward to seeing you there, and we can call this meeting adjourned at 6:02. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.